Hello, friends. I hope you guys are fine and doing well. Well, it has been almost a year since I posted the video on my YouTube channel, but finally I'm here, and today we are going to talk about some important acts that were enacted by the British government, or rather British administration, during the colonization of India. These acts are very important if you are going for competitive exams, especially UPSC and other exams also. Usually, when we go through the Indian polity, or let's say this Indian history, modern Indian history, we usually see when we try to read these acts and when we try to comprehend these acts, it's usually difficult for us to remember all the stuff or all the things when we go through all these acts. So today I'm here with these acts. I have done some reading even when I was a student. When I was doing my bachelor's, it was difficult to comprehend every point that was being taught by the lecturer. Today we will talk about these acts, and we will talk about these significant features or the important things that we need to remember, and that might be asked in competitive exams related to these acts. Today we are going to talk about two acts, and these two acts are very important in Indian polity and Indian modern history. So first act is Regulating Act of 1773, as its name already suggested that it has been enacted in 1773. So today we'll talk about some of the important features of this act. The first thing that you need to remember about this act is that by this act, or through this act, the governor of Bengal became the governor general. So the first important point you need to remember in Regulating Act of 1773 is that the governor of Bengal became the governor general. This is the first important point. The second important point is that private trade was abolished. Before this act came into power, private trade was full-fledging. You could do private trade, or the people could do private trade, or the companies could do private trade. But after the enactment of this act, the abolition of private trade took place. The third important point, actually it's the most important point in this act. Why? Because I have seen it being asked in many competitive exams. uh, that is, the third point is that Supreme Court was set up in Kolkata. This is the very important point. This might be asked in competitive exams as well. When was the first, or by which act, the Court in India came into existence? So it was through this Regulating Act of 1773 that Supreme Court was set up at Calcutta, and there was a single Chief Justice, one Chief Justice and three judges. So this thing also you need to keep in mind, that when the Supreme Court first was set up at Calcutta, there was a single Chief Justice and there were three judges. The fourth important point is that an executive council of four members was established. See, remember this point also. An executive council of four members was established. When we come to the fifth point of this act, fifth important point of this act is that governors were also sent to Madras and Bombay. I mean, at that time the name was Bombay, right now it's Mumbai. So, for the first time, governors were sent to, or set up, or established at Madras and Bombay. But these governors had less power as compared to the governor of Bengal, or rather, who became the governor general of Bengal. The last important point of or important aspect of this act was that court of directors was established in order to supervise the working or the smooth functioning of the East India Company. So the sixth point, or the last point, is that a court of directors was established which would look after the smooth functioning, or which would supervise the smooth functioning of the East India Company. So friends, what you need to remember in Regulating Act of 1773 is that six important points, and these six important points are, I'm starting again so that you will remember, so that it will be easy for you to comprehend, so that it will be easy for you to remember. The first one is that Governor of Bengal became the Governor General. Second is private trade was abolished. Third point is that a Supreme Court was established with one Chief Justice and three other judges. The fourth important point is that executive council of 4 members was established, and this was done for the first time. You should also remember this thing. The fifth important point is that governors were sent to Madras and Bombay, but those governors had less powers as compared to the governor of Bengal, or rather the Governor General of Bengal. And the last important point that you need to remember in this act is that a court of directors was established, and this court of directors would look after the smooth functioning and the supervise, or rather let's say it would look after the supervision of this East India Company. So this was all about regulating act of 1773. I initially in the video I told you that we will talk about 2 acts, but I am planning to talk about another acts, that's Pitt's India Act of 1784, in another video. So let's hope that at least you could remember some points which will be useful for you in your academics and if you are going for competitive exams as well. So I hope you guys have understood or at least grabbed some important points. Have a good day. Bye bye.